accessory muscles of breathing. It's going to start to over-recruit the rectus abdominis. It's going to call in other things that it needs to help to push back up, because it's calling, it's like, sounding the warning signal to that we need to use everything that we possibly can to squeeze and push and get off this trampoline. And the irony is that at the end of a performance, when your body is fatigued, your body's going to want to do that anyway. Okay, when you get fatigued and you can no longer use the right stuff, your body's going to call in the other cheaters to help to produce sound at any cost. But the problem with that is you can't sustain that for a long period of time, and you're going to have to recover more afterwards. And so this is when, if you've ever felt like your neck after performance, or after you've trained, or you felt like shoulders, or you felt lower back or whatever, those are those cheaters helping. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. These are the things that are helping to get off that trampoline. So, it's not to say that that's always going to happen, but like if you're consistently feeling that stuff after you've sung or after you've trained for that matter, it might not be the right thing for you. You might need to look at that. You might need to adjust your volume, and so it's kind of like, I've got this like cow trying to jump the trampoline, it's ill prepared for the task. So we want to choose the right strategy to try to get there, and I don't think that thing got off the trampoline, and I think you guys can. But the point is that with training, we always talk about like, and a lot of my stuff, I talk about the stacked position. Okay, I talk about cultivating the stacked position because I believe that this is the best position to produce sound. Not that you're always going to be in this position. Like, that's not the point. The point is that you should be able to get back to this position, and you should be able to start in this position because it's simply the best position to breathe. Okay, so my question for you, in every exercise that you do, whether it be Pilates, whether it be strength training, whether it be cardio, can you maintain a fairly stacked shape under load? Okay, so like if you're lifting, okay, you've got a barbell, you're holding a weight, you're doing a squat, okay, and I'm saying, okay, so I want a stacked position, right? So I want you to squat down and squat up, and it's fairly straight. You've got the bar on your back, and you go down, and you're like, okay, I'm straight, but then you go to stand up, and you go like that. Like that's no longer a stacked position, okay? Or you're doing like a push-up or something. You're coming up and down, and you push up, you get down to the bottom, and then you have to arch your back to come up. Okay, that's no longer a stacked position. So the point is that in training, in life, and in performance, your body's going to take whatever shape it has to get there. And I don't want you to worry about this at all. What I am not saying is sing this way. Okay, you're not going to be able to. Like if you try, it's going to make you worse. Not the point. The point is that when we train, especially when we do strength training or a movement discipline like Pilates, Feldenkrais, et cetera, this is the position that we want to maintain because it's the best position to load our body in a way that is going to strengthen the right things or to cultivate the right things to allow us to produce and control pressure, okay? I hope that makes sense. And when we start to see this position degrade, you're starting to assume other shapes and stuff. There's times when that's useful, but in general, I wouldn't add weight to that position. I would take it away. I wouldn't necessarily add difficulty to that position. I would take it away because I think we've all been in like exercises where you're doing something and you're like, oh, this feels pretty good. And it looks pretty, but then you might add weight, or they might say, oh, okay, like we're on our back doing an abs. Let's extend our legs out. And then you arch your back, or then you're like, your shoulder rolls forward or something. We want to choose the right, I guess takeaway here is that hard doesn't always mean good, right? Position means good. Okay, this is basically your bullshit test. Excuse my language, but for whether your body can do something. Okay, I want to be very clear on that because this is something that, again, I think this is a huge thing because this is really big as far as knowing when something may be good, when it might not be good when it comes to training. And then knowing when to stop too, because you might start looking really good and then it might degrade as you fatigue. So, you kind of